All right, 5 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. It's time to talk to Jim George. He's here to answer your questions about the technology that you've been using to entertain yourself at home, whether it's TV or maybe some kind of internet radio. I use internet radio. I use something called iHeartRadio. I don't know if anybody else does. And Jim is here to answer your questions about those kind of things. There was a news story this morning I want to bring up to Jim's attention as well regarding the a la carte service that he's been talking about ever since we can remember. Jim is the owner of American Cable Services, and right now your calls are part of this show. The number is 622-9622-622-WOCA. That is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline. So if you'd like to get through to Jim, it's as easy as a phone call, 622-WOCA. Good morning, Jim. How you doing?
Good morning. Fine, thank you.
So here's the news story. There was a news story this morning, and it was clearly written by somebody who doesn't like a la carte, saying that this is not what the people want, this because they don't understand that they're going to miss out on things, and then later on they're going to say, well, where's my HBO or where's my this and that? And I thought, wait a minute, this is written by a company that doesn't want to give up that stranglehold on all of us. I read another report in trying to prepare for your segment today that said 80% of the channels that we pay for, we don't use.
Right, and they actually claim 68 or 70% of all channels will go away because nobody watches them.
So a la carte is the death of a lot of those little channels.
Exactly, and that's why they tag along. In other words, if you wanted to do the sewing channel and you could not...
Is there such a thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
And if you would like to do that, and you had all the quilt videos and the little doily videos and everything, so you could do 24 hours a day, you might go to maybe the tennis channel or someplace and say, hey, I'd like to tag along with you. So they'll say, fine, you do all the work, we'll give you 10% of everything that's collected, and then they force the cable companies to carry the sewing channel along with the tennis channel. So, but now it's in a tier all by itself. Now It's a situation where the cable guys are forced to add more satellite receivers, more everything. And then the bottom line is that no one ever watches it. Now, when I say no one, I mean it could be 0.01%. But if you got 40 million subscribers on Comcast, let's say, and you got 0.01%, you could have 4,000 or 40,000 people, whatever that turns out, watching it. But 40,000 out of 40 million is a far cry.
Yeah, right. So I'm guessing, and there was another story too, by the way, when I was doing this research that said that Canada was finally getting a la carte service. So,
yes.
So a la carte it sounds like the way to go for me. And in fact, TV watching is changing as we look at the younger people. Mm-hmm. I was looking at all this stuff from kind of in your world this morning. Somebody, let's say, I don't know, like in their early 20s maybe, they're not even sitting in front of a TV anymore for the most part.
No, they're not. But, you can have your cell phone and be watching, let's say, HBO Go, which is designed for cell phones, and you broadcast it to your large screen. So all you do is set your cell phone within a proximity of 30 or 40 feet of your TV. It's broadcasting to your TV. Now, your TV is doing it in 1080p, large, high def. Right. And if the phone rings, you still answer it. You do everything you do, and the cell phone now is just the medium to get it connected. Isn't that the craziest thing?
Yeah. Cool.
So you go online, you get whatever you want with your cell phone, and you broadcast it to your TV.
That's kind of cool, actually. Yeah. So let's try to be devil's advocate just for a second here. Let's say I couldn't care less about Sesame Street on PBS, right? But a lot of people like it. But the numbers don't really support it, which is always the case with Sesame Street, by the way. Everybody loves Sesame Street, but nobody really watches it. It's kind of like the restaurant that nobody goes to except for once in a while. Right. And when it goes out of business, everybody goes, oh, man, I love that restaurant. Well, when's the last time you went? Oh, a couple of years ago. Yeah. So that's the way Sesame Street is. It doesn't get high ratings. And that's why it's on public broadcasting, because we as taxpayers kind of subsidize it.
Yes.
Well, we don't have enough money to subsidize all those sewing channels you're talking about.
Right.
That'd be hard.
It would be very hard. And so what a la carte allows you to do is you create a sewing channel, and you put it out there, and whoever wants to watch it watches it and pays for that one channel. So now those 40,000 subscribers, think about 40,000 subscribers is a lot of subscribers to an upstart company that may sell quilting material or may have advertisers, that people who sell wool, or they can make a good living off of 40,000 subscribers.
Well, exactly. And isn't that the same philosophy of a magazine publisher? I mean, a magazine typically is one subject, and let's use sewing as an example.
Yeah.
So Sewers Daily, Sewers Monthly, whatever, the magazine, right? Well, you're entering into a small market when that's your magazine.
Yes.
So that's what you love doing? You sell to the 40,000? 40,000 could keep your business going.
You better believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of magazines, when you get them yourself, and every so often the subscription, there's a little blurb in there that they have to once a year report how many subscribers they have in their magazine. So it's a little section there, and it will say like 110,000 subscribers. Then on the bottom it might say 10,000 paying. So they're sending it to 100,000
Oh,
free.
really?
So they're going to all the quilt shops,
right?
To be on the shelf.
Right.
But only 10,000 of them got sold.
And this really makes the person that's creating that television channel, that they would be the ones that would need to go out and get the people that are going to do the advertising on there. And they're also going to have to do their public relations and not depend on just their little niche in that broader spectrum of things. And this might generate more interest in that type of craft. They could take out advertisements in quilting magazines and say, watch my show on this channel at such and such a date. They'll have to get the creative juices flowing, and that would create more jobs in the private sector.
Exactly. No, it forces the small companies to work a little harder, but they're the ones who reap the benefit. They don't have to share with anybody, because a la carte is one of those situations where if they're streaming live or if they're on the satellite and I pick them up, it's going to cost me a one-time cost of maybe $3,000 to carry them. But if I decide to carry them on my system because of the satellite receivers and all the equipment, I might charge them. I might charge my customer 10 cents to watch the sewing channel. Well, I may only pay the sewing channel 3 cents. I mean, they may have whatever they tell me they want per sub. So, I'm making 5 cents or 8 cents profit. Well, it doesn't sound like much, but if you had the 40,000 times 5 cents,
so why not?
Then it pays me back for all the electronics I have and all the electricity and the extra bandwidth to carry them. So, no, a la carte's the way to go. I mean, you could have the Robin and the Giant channel.
You could.
Do you know? We had a lady call in from Las Vegas at the whatever that consumer electronics show that's going on right now.
Right.
And she was representing Cox, right?
Yeah.
Cox Cable, I guess, or Cox Communications, whatever
Right.
it is. And so I was looking up some information on that, and apparently the big thing at the consumer show is this Ultra HD TV.
Right, 4K.
That's the one you've been telling us about.
Yeah.
So now that's the new thing. We'll see that probably in the rich people's homes first, and then it'll trickle down to the average folks.
Yep, it's forcing the price down. Last year, CES 4K was only talked about, and it was like $30,000 for a TV. Now it's like $8,000 for a TV. I mean, that's come way down. And before you know it, it'll be $1,100 for a TV. It'd be brought down. And
can I ask you, how much did you and your wife pay for the one you got last month?
We got a great deal. I mean, we were talking about it just last night. You must have been over here in our conversation.
He's a fly on the wall.
She reads the newspapers and she listens to the news where don't be fooled into buying on Black Friday. All the sales for electronics really happen after the first of the year. So we bought on Black Friday, but she's been looking to see and the model number we have is $300 more than what we bought it for on Black Friday.
Really?
Wow.
So Black Friday
we bought it at Sears the way we wanted to buy it. Bought it with the Sears extended 5-year warranty. Got it. Something happens to it, call them up, say, come get this thing.
Something that went away that I used to actually be a consumer of was web TV. And now apparently web TV is trying to make a comeback in a different format, and that was also in the consumer thing going on in Vegas. Do you know anything about that?
Well, yeah. Well, web TV is basically IPTV. It's right now, if you type in free streaming channels, you'll see their sites, and you go to one channel's got one place has got 1,000 channels that you can watch free. But they're through your internet, which means they do buffer. I mean, last night I have good speed at my house, and last night I did that test, and they kept buffering and say loading. But if you don't,
Drives you nuts,
if you
right?
wanted to watch it free, you got it free.
That's true. That's true. But that is kind of annoying, though. When that's that.
Watch Sesame Street for free.
And what kind of connections do you recommend that people have when they connect their internet to the cable and everything that's coming through? I mean, you see those big old monster cables for sale, and then you see the slimline cables, and how does a person know what to really choose for optimum performance?
Well, there's two questions I think you asked. One is how much bandwidth does a customer need in order to do it, and we recommend just your basic, like a 1x5 or maybe a 1x10. So in other words, you can download 10 megabits per second, because a video would only take like 2 meg or 5 meg to watch. Like Netflix would be like 2 meg to watch. Mm-hmm. So you don't need a whole lot of bandwidth. But as far as the internal of your house, once you have that and you have an IP TV, the output of the modem, that is the internet itself, goes straight to the TV with an HDMI cable. And you can buy HDMI cables for $3.95, or you can buy them for $39.95.
Yeah.
And HDMI cables, if they're short, makes no difference. By short, I mean 6 feet or under. So if you have your box located 6 feet from your TV, buy the cheapest there is. If you have your box located 20 feet away from your TV, then buy an expensive, heavy-duty cable that will overcome the loss.
Oh, okay. So that does make a difference, right?
The distance makes a difference, yes.
Which is why, who was it? You that told us not to use an extension cord on a space heater?
No, it wasn't.
Maybe it was Joe Rankel.
But boy, do I have a story to tell.
What happened? What happened?
I am over at the Fire College. I'm
Right.
going there today. I hope the Fire College is not listening.
Ah!
And this is the college, the Florida State Fire College, that teaches firemen all the safety procedures
Right.
and how to polish the trucks and how to fix the hoses and everything. And my job is to put up 3 projectors for them so they can do all their training with overhead projectors.
Okay.
And I go into the one classroom, and laying on the ground is an extension cord that's been cut, taped, and frayed in about 5 places where you can actually see the insulation inside and the wire.
No.
And I say, tell me that this is a training exercise. And when the people walk in and sit down, the first question you ask them is, did you happen to notice anything unusual when you walked in? He said, no, I'm sorry to say, that's the extension cord we've been using for years.
Man.
And this is at the
Thanks for
Florida
seeing.
State Fire College. Is that so
man.
funny or what?
That's
I love
crazy.
that.
I'm
That's
taking my
hysterical.
camera today, and I'm taking a picture of it, and I will
good.
share it with you. You can put it online. Fire State College.
Oh, yeah.
I can't even.
College.
Oh, yeah. That'll be a viral photo.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Oh, wow.
I hope
That's
they're
incredible.
changing it before I get there, and they go, "Oh, we heard you on the radio."
Yeah,
No,
they might. That might happen.
Unbelievable.
All right, so the phone number, again, is 622-WOCA if you want to join in on the conversation. Jim George, of course, is your host right now. Let me ask you about the curved TVs. Is that a gimmick, or is that going to, because it seems to me if it's curved and it's on your wall, it's going to not be not going to be flush with the wall.
Well, people have a problem with the angle they watch TV at. My wife is a great person for this. You have a flat screen, and let's say it's aiming towards the kitchen because she's in the kitchen and she can see the TV. As soon as she goes and sits down, she turns the TV towards the chair that she's sitting in.
Okay.
And then if she moves to another, so the curvature is supposed to eliminate that. So no matter what, within let's say a 90 degree or 110 degree, it looks the same all the way around.
Wow.
But the new TV sets, like the one we bought, you can look at it, you can be like 30 degrees to the side and still see the picture perfect. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's the old ones that didn't do well. The new ones do perfectly well.
And it looks like you have a phone call, so let's go to the phone. Good morning. You're on the air with Jim George.
Yes, good morning, Jim and everybody. I enjoy your program. It's very informative. The question I have is, what is your opinion on TVs that have the CD right in them rather than having a separate unit?
Yeah, I like it separate because if the CD part didn't work, you'd have to send the whole TV and everything away to get it fixed.
Right.
I always like components better than multiple components, like a CD player separate, Blu-ray separate, different. Then they have it all built into one. It's like the old days where you had the turntable, the AM/FM radio.
Yeah.
And if something happened, you had to send the whole thing away.
That's right.
the guy would come in with a big truck to haul it away. So you couldn't play a record, you couldn't listen to the radio until it came back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would there be a difference in the quality between the one in the TV and the separate component?
Not really, but the separate components, the best part about them is they're so cheap. My wife showed me a thing yesterday that said it had a Blu-ray player, it had a CD player, and it did DVD playing and recording for $49.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, that's
Wow.
and that was H.H. Gregg. So you think about it, why spend an extra $120 or whatever it is to have it built into the TV and if it goes bad, what do? You can either A, get it repaired because it comes with a $5 warranty for 2 years. If anything goes wrong in 2 years, they give you another one because it's always a percentage of the price. Or you throw it away and buy another one. So no, things that are all built in together, I'm not a fond advocate of.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
On your a la carte system, right now there's the YouTube channel where people can load up their videos for other people to see all over the world. Is there going to be a channel that's going to be dedicated to that where a person can just upload a video and...
No, right now we're strictly
watch?
TV. Basically, we send to you the different channels that other people have already, created. But if a person wanted to be an entrepreneur and say, "Hey, I'm going to start up my own YouTube and call it MeTube," and so you send to me the different videos you have, and I'll post them. And then you can call your neighbors and friends and say, "Hey, go to MeTube and click on 1197. That's me mowing the yard."
Oh, wow. That would be pretty
Home movies.
entrepreneurial.
Yeah,
Love that.
And we just do it a la carte. If you want it, you pay the 10 cents, and if you don't,
I think
don't.
you just invented
Wow.
something that'll be that might be your Mickey Mouse.
Well, this is what
Walt Disney.
a la carte allows. A la carte allows entrepreneurs to do it. I mean, let's take your channel here. You're playing 24 hours a day on Ocala Palms Channel 16. So although you're only on, say, between 7 and noon, the station's on 24 hours a
Right,
day.
right.
Well, imagine if we had cameras in there. We're still going to do it. I'm just so far behind in doing anything. Then not only would you be on Ocala Palms Channel 16, you would be on the a la carte. So if somebody in New York loves you guys, they just get our box. They pay, let's say, 10 cents, and they watch you.
See, that 10 cents sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Considering how much cable actually costs when you get that bundle of which 80% you don't look at. Let's go back to the phone. Good morning. You're on the air with Jim George.
Good morning. Sound like you're in a hole there, Larry and Robin.
A little bit, yeah.
Like first of all, wish you guys a happy New Year. I was wondering, what do you think about that new thing with the WWE? They're going to circumvent the cable networks and stuff, and they're doing their own thing on the internet. I don't know if you were aware of that, but
Yes.
they say that it seems like it can work pretty good because of the amount of money and the amount of viewers that they have. And I guess I didn't know that they were housed out of Orlando, but apparently they just built a newer facility over there. Anyway, I'll hang up. But I think I keep listening to you because this cable business, man, it's going up and up and up. And we definitely need an alternative to the cable business. I mean. Plus, sometimes the whole thing goes out depending upon which company you have. You guys have a good weekend.
Thank you, Lenny.
Thank you.
Yeah, that he's right. I mean, it is getting kind of out of hand, the price.
Well, more and more channels are streaming and still remaining on cable TV. I mean, WWF is not a channel all by itself. You notice it's on USA or it's on some channel, 4 hours a night or whatever it is. But they have so much content. I mean, they've had content from the early 50s. They can do 24-hour day of classic wrestling or Florida wrestling or Georgia wrestling. So by clicking on an icon, you could watch the wrestlers from your own area. You can't do that with TV. So you have to be interactive, and that's where the internet comes.
True, yeah.
But on a la carte, what would happen is we would stream you their channel, but you would not have the capability of clicking on to any state or something like that.
It's come full circle, right? Isn't that how TV started, was with those box wrestling matches and things like that?
yeah.
Right? I think we talked about that last week.
Yeah.
Doug's a big
Old
wrestling
black
fan.
and white, yeah. And boxing. Yeah, we used to like the boxing. My dad used to watch boxing.
Well, and they had this big event over at the Marion Theater last week or so with the football game on the big screen in there. Mm-hmm. Now how was that? Do you know anything about that?
They could have received it by satellite and broadcast it, or they could have received it by internet. Either way.
So that's what's cool about. I guess movie theaters are now using the same technology, but maybe a little bit more sophisticated than we have in our homes, to project an image that far across the theater and that big. They must have something similar to what we have at home.
I believe Marion County, the Marion Theater, I could be wrong on this. I read something where they won a grant from the state for a test pilot for that projector, which will do high def onto a screen for a theater.
Oh, really?
So if that's the case, then the people who watch that large screen had a real, it's like being there.
Well, and it gives theaters another thing that they can offer. I mean, if it used to be, a pre-filmed movie. It's all pre-filmed and it's in a can. Right. This is a live event.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not a sports fan, but I know Buddy and his guys are. They went to the event and it sounded like they had a good time. But I might go to like the Grammys.
Right.
If they were going to show the Grammys there, for example, that might be kind of fun.
Yeah. And what they can do is they can do multiple screens. In other words, like they could split that large screen into quarters, where 3/4 of it might be the interviewing of one of the ladies in their pretty dresses where they do all that stuff. But in the 1/4 is actually showing the crowd and showing the people coming in with the cars and being unloaded, and all that kind of stuff. So you have multiple views of, with a larger screen, the multiple views.
Now, you mentioned earlier about how the phone could actually transmit to your TV, and I don't mean to ask you a question out of your arena, but this is about video cameras. Do they have video cameras that can do that? You could literally, instead of hooking up your camera to, like, let's say you're in Disney and you're staying in a hotel and you want to show the kids the video you took that day, rather than where's the wire, how do I hook it up to a hotel TV? Can you just broadcast it from a camera nowadays? Is there something?
Anything that you have recorded on your cell phone can stream to your TV. If it's a smart TV.
Wow.
A wireless TV.
Of course, it'd be raw.
Most smart ones are wireless. And that it's unbelievable what they can do today. That's why a la carte is the only sensible. And you're right, Canada has passed a law. As of January the 1st, all channels must be offered a la carte, which means companies like Rogers Cablevision and Canadian Tire, which is actually a cable company, they're scrambling to figure out how to do this. So what they're doing is they still have to bundle. Like ESPN is owned by Disney. So when you want ESPN, you have to take all 5 ESPN channels, the Disney Channel, ABC, which Disney owns, and USA, which Disney owns. But so it's a la carte, but you got 8 channels.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. And is it expensive, that particular choice?
That is about $11 by itself, because ESPN itself is like $7.
Mm-hmm.
But see, that's a shame that you can't get rid of the stuff you're never going to watch.
Well, they claim that everybody wants to watch a movie channel, and that's why they have Disney. Everybody wants an adventure, an active action channel, and that's USA, and ABC, of course, is a network. Mm-hmm. So they're giving you everything you ever wanted for $11, and they're hoping you'll just take them. So you have your sports.
So do the FCC rules don't apply. I mean, obviously they have nudity on those channels and things like that. So whatever rules TV used to have to abide by. Am I right? I mean, what are the rules? Who sets them?
Well, you still have the HBOs and Showtimes, which show a lot more than just nudity, but that's because it's a subscription, and so a la carte is going to end up being a subscription, unless you subscribe to one channel. So HBOs and Showtime, the movie channels will always have the capability of showing movies that are maybe not XXX, but definitely X.
Right, and if people want that XXX thing, they can pay their money and buy those extra
And they
channels.
can get those online. I don't think there's going to be an a la carte cable company in America that's going to carry XXX, because it's so free out there. You can go anywhere you want to on the internet, get anything you want.
That's right.
And if you talk to the Bright Houses and Comcasts of this world about video on demand, who's taking video on demand,
right.
Bright House will tell you, because they've told me, if it wasn't for adult movies at night, they wouldn't have a single person buying video on demand.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's the
because
big seller.
everything's online. You can go online and get anything you want.
That's what people want, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. I
kids
guess
are
it's
in
just
bed then,
the truth. That's why they have the vibrating panties rubbing
Yeah.
look
That's
right
right.
there.
you
The lace
go.
ones.
Ay,
there
ay,
you
ay.
go.
Who knew we were going to take that current turn at the last part of the
Yeah,
show?
boy.
All right. So ultra high definition TVs, a la carte, smartphones that can broadcast to your TV. This is all here now.
Now.
Yeah.
This is not something we're waiting for anymore.
Right. And of course, they have security systems where you can have a camera in your home, and you can be on your cell phone, and if someone opens the door and did not set the alarm code, it sends it to your cell phone, and you see who's in your house.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
really
great.
good. That's really good. Yeah.
I love that.
So
It'd probably be Doug and borrowing some bread or something.
Yeah. Yep, that'll catch him.
his helicopter flew through the living room.
The helicopter.
That's right.
See, everybody knows your helicopter story, Doug.
That's right.
All right.
The quickest flight in America. Jim, always fun to chat with you. What is your phone number?
In Ocala, it's 854-9795.
And how do we find out if we can hook up to your service so we can get a la carte?
It's actually too premature yet. I'm getting a lot of calls now from listeners. We will let you know when the time comes. We have about 30 channels up and running. We're getting ready to move our head in, so only 9 of them will be up this week as we do some moving. But right around March, we should have close to 80 channels up and running.
All right.
Wow.
Look
So
forward to March.
You're going to have my business.
Yeah.
And then you choose the ones you want.
And Robin's already pretty close. She's in 103rd Street Road, not too far from top of
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah.
So you just got to get it across 200.
Well, it's internet TV. Anywhere that you
Oh,
have-
okay. So you don't even need that.
Right, as long as you have internet. And we're working on a box right now that's wireless. So if you have wireless in your house, it goes from your wireless internet to your TV wirelessly.
Nice.
There you go. You're going to have it.
No wires.
And then Ronnie can watch the Weather Channel and the History Channel.
And not have to pay the extra $40.
Not have to pay
get
for the
both
other
of them
stuff you don't
together,
ever
yeah.
use.
Exactly.
All right, Jim. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. We'll take a little break and be right back.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives. Where in Florida? Some fog patches this morning, otherwise clouds and breaks of sun today and becoming warmer with a passing shower, high 77.